So next topic is really interesting one because I'll tell you something. Some of you might have put their parents' signature at least once in their life during your school days, right? I'm one among them. So have you ever thought what would have happened if all our teachers were handwriting experts then? Okay, jokes apart. So we have seen so many people force signature on others for huge money transactions and in many important documents and all. So here is a way to identify them and to understand more about it. I would like to invite our next speaker because he's the best person to explain and teach us about handwriting expert like handwriting examination and fingerprint examinations. So I would like to invite Mr. Ashok Kashyap, handwriting and fingerprint experts trained in USA, to talk about examination of question documents. Ashok Kashyap belonged to an illustrious family of forensic handwriting and fingerprint experts, and his office is one of the oldest in India, Asia actually, which is running since 1935. He was blessed with great mentors in his life, starting with his father, Krishnan Kashyap, who was in the profession for like 53 years. And he was also an invitee delegate in 150th anniversary of Royal Microscopical Society in 1989, London, and at the International Conference Orlando, USA in 1983. He's a life member of so many associations, and he's very, like I would say, he's very prestigious for us. And I would like to welcome Sir.
Well, I extend my congratulations to all the organizers and to the institution, including the enlightened speakers who have spared the time to attend this meeting. I shall be very precise, and the topic that I've chosen is that how to find out the defects of forgeries among the different type of wills, because will is a very important legal document. Will is a very important legal document, and before that, I will give some idea about my background also. I've been for 56 years in this profession. I've appeared all over India in about 17 states and done about 5,000 cases of fraud detection. So here I take up especially the cases of wills, how to detect fraud in different type of will cases. Now, the cases of fraud and forgery have been associated with the important documents since days of antiquity, long. Important documents in Mughal courts, there has been mention to them, and there has been mention to them in several literature, English literature books also, about the doubtful nature of the signatures, apart from the graphological importance of the persons involved in writing those signatures. Anyway, that's a separate topic, but we will only confine to the forgery area. So wills are an important portion of legal documents, and that too, they are vulnerable to a variety of types of fabrications. I have given so far opinion on hundreds of will cases, and some of them have been relating to Chaudhary Bansilal and Rajmata Gwalior and N.T. Ramarao cases. These are some of the important cases that I have given my opinion on. Now, I take the first example. The paper of the will may contain a thumb impression or a signature on a blank paper. On a blank paper. Not, that is, not systematically. Sometimes people are duped and their thumb impressions or signatures are obtained on a blank paper. Subsequently, they are filled up in or typed with and there the defects of interline spacing, interword spacing, alignment, margins, the position of words, etc., are to be considered for the purpose of detection of fraud. The aspect of a clear evidence of accommodating the signature is also an important factor which can lead to determination or assessment of the situation in which the fraud might have been committed. The second example is that fingerprints are fraudulently obtained on a paper in good trust. These signatures of the signatures of the witnesses also may be obtained. The document may be filled up, handwritten, or printed over the thumb, sometimes even over the thumb impressions. Sometimes even over the thumb impressions. In such cases, besides the features of alignment, spacing, interword spacing, may present interesting evidence and features, including the sequence of strokes, which shall prove that the fingerprints were obtained earlier, much earlier, before having been typed on such document. It is also a strong evidence of commission of fraud. The third instance may be the document may contain a genuine or false signatures. Some passages might have been obtained on the obliterated or removed with the induction of convenient clauses. So precisely the problem in such cases is that it is alleged by the party that some of the portion or some of the passages they have been obliterated to the convenience of the party doing so, and they were not expected to have been originally the part of the bill. In such cases, we have to search for the evidence of obliteration, physical or chemical, the fonts or the type of the typewriter or the printer used to add subsequent passages with special reference to margin, slope, spacing, the presence of the vestiges of original writing shall also have to be looked for. We have come across some very interesting cases, Xerox copies of wills, where it was suspected that the signatures were forged. When we took their photographs, on extensive photography, we found that the documents were tempered, obliterated. Some other writing was available, some other fingerprints were available, of witnesses also, even the executant. But they were not visible to the naked eye on the Xerox copy, which was supplied to us but intensive investigation showed their presence. So, so there are wonderful cases where uh, manipulation has been done with will cases. Uh, Fourth instance is it is alleged that the same person signed execution signatures as well as the signatures of the witnesses. Sometimes it is alleged that the will contains the signatures, all of them signed by the same person. That is the execution and the witnesses, all those signatures, or all the fingerprints may belong to the same person. So we have to compare all of them intensely to find out whether some of them are similar or dissimilar, or all of them are identical, whether such evidence of fraudulent nature is available or not. These are some of the important examples that I have narrated about the will cases, and apart from that, sometimes if the will is of 3 or 4 sheets, it is alleged that from some particular portion, some passages are removed. Passages are obliterated, removed, replaced by either typewriter or by computer, or if it is handwritten, it could have been written by this same person. So there we have to make research accordingly and to see how far this claim finds its veracity. So these are some of the interesting cases regarding the will. Thanks, madam. Now I would like to come on very briefly on another topic. It's a very tough nut to crack, you know. We have been dealing with examination of ink problems. Examination of ink. The courts have been referring letters to us from various parts of the country for the purpose of determination of age of ink. Now the reality is that it is not possible. It is really not possible to determine or establish the age of ink. But equally, what the equal reality is that sometimes some indications can be found out through diligent and dedicated approach to see whether some symptoms of fraudulent nature are available or not. If we have to understand what is the purpose behind the inquiry of assessment of age of ink, the such inquiry becomes relevant when the party alleges that some portion of the document had been written much earlier as per, and it is in contravention with the date which has been described on the document. So that is the situation where the court has got to determine whether there is some intervening period between some portions of writings on the check 138 or on wills or on sale deeds or on some important documents. What could be the intervening period between the suspected writings? That is actually the purpose. Or we can say we have to establish whether a particular document has been written in normal course of business or not. Whether the different portions were written at different times or they were written simultaneously. That is again another interpretation of the same problem. The fourth interpretation is to find out precisely some indications of clear-cut forgery in such documents where the skepticism is about the normal execution of the document. So I have, through my dedicated uh, research of 30 to 40 years, found that it is not certainly possible to give any exact idea about the age of ink. But there are certain other factors which will give us a lot of help. For instance, we have to and that is precisely the microscopical examination of the document. You have to see, we have to look for how many, what is the number of inks that has been used in different portions of the documents, either in 138 cases, checks, or on wills or sale deeds or agreements, whatever. That is, what is the exact number of inks? Number one. What is the exact number of pens which have been used in the execution of that document? Number three. How many writers could have been involved? How many writers could have been involved in the execution of that particular document in entirety? That is, which portion has been written by which writer? If there are, if a particular, if an important document like will, like sale deed, like agreement to sell, has been found to be written in more than one ink, in more than one pen, by more than one writer, and if there is any presence of alterations, if there is any presence of erasures, and if there is evidence of contradiction or contravention with regard to sequence of strokes in certain portions, they all raise the doubt that it is a doubtful document. It is not a genuine document. We need not go, certainly, for the assessment of age of ink, which I told you that the magical answer is no. Even our forensic labs have been returning them, stating that it is not possible to give opinion. But my humble suggestion is that certain solutions have been found out to prove that a particular document which is related to this problem may be proved to be a bogus and a manipulated document. So, when the court wants to determine the assessment of age of ink, because there is some doubt about the execution, it might not have been executed in the same operation, then we can look for all these indications. They provide a very strong and irrefutable evidence of presence of forgery if they can be answered and if such symptoms can be found out, one or all, with regard to inks, with regard to pens, with regard to number of writers, with regard to alterations. Now there was an interesting case which I received from the court, a check 138. I found that in the date there was erasure and there was alteration also. There was erasure and alteration also. So I could think that it is a serious matter. It's a serious matter. Both these things should not coexist. This gives doubt that there is something fishy about the document. So if you cannot answer this question directly as to assessment of age of ink, I hope in a lighter vein it can be certainly answered by some other solutions if we seriously look for them. With this, I will conclude, and I would like to thank the organizers and all the brilliant and august gathering of listeners, as well as those who have delivered the lectures. With those, and with their lectures, we have benefited considerably, for which I should thank them all.
Thank you so much, sir. That was really informative and so deep. And I hope this information will be very much useful for forensic students, especially. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. I am grateful to you and your foundation, and I hope that this participation shall be a frequent affair in future. No.
Sir, thank you so much. So now let's move to some other areas of forensics. And I hope you all are enjoying the summit well. So because so many informations in 2 days, right? So let's